Let me tell you, we are both super excited to bring you this match. This is Reign, the EU number ones in red here, versus BONKS, the NA number twos in green over at the end of the map. Reign here bringing Ohio, Yamato, double Venezia, double Moskva, Gearing, and sorry, I'm reading the green lineup, I do apologize. Republic, force of habit. Venezia, Moskva, now quadruple Kleber down this end with a Marceau. So effectively 5 French destroyers. It's going to be really interesting to see what they're going to do with those. I've already read it, but do you want to do the green lineup?
Sure. I feel like we just saw this game, Stats. Am I the only one? A little bit of deja vu going on here?
Little bit, yeah.
Indeed. Opposing them from the North spawn, wearing green, are the North American second place team. This is BONKS coming to the dance with Ohio and Yamato, fronted by Venezia, Moskva, and another Venezia. And then all the way out front, the pointing into the spear, we have a Gearing, a Z52 headed for B, and Todd Howard's is daring, making revolutions towards C.
Now, let's talk about Reign's Kleber deployment here.
Oh, man. Look at this.
So, yeah, you've got Sheep, you've got Bazinga, you've got Lulu, and you've got Gangbarang all marching up in a line towards Charlie. So I feel slightly sorry for Todd Howard's there in the daring for BONKS, who may have an interesting 5 minutes here.
Now, I am perhaps not as familiar with the EU clans as I ought to be, so refresh my memory. Reign is a French clan, are they not?
Yeah, mostly. I'm not sure if all the players are French, but yes, certainly they are a Francophone team, yes.
Okay, so this is definitely something that they, I mean, hey, man, you get to play French ships at this kind of level. They got to be all over this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen them do this kind of thing earlier in the tournament as well, very effectively, obviously, because they're here. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with this 4-destroyer group over here on Charlie. I suspect it will involve a lot of shells at some point, very, very soon.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Interestingly, something I need to point out. So you'll notice that Lulu, Gangbarang, and Baz are all together at the back with Sheep in front. The reason for this is that the Sheep is probably running Legendary, so it has doesn't have the DPM that the other 3 do, but it does have spotting.
Higher spotting, yep.
Yes.
Here it comes. Howard's having to smoke and try to salvage as much of his HP as he can out of this ridiculously imbalanced exchange. Looks like he is going to maybe sneak away on about half HP if he can pull it off. Yep.
Yeah, he does manage to go dark. There's a lot of blind shells going in. Managed to get away on 14, but Reign obviously getting the C cap there, at least initially.
Oof. Return fire from Addy's Venezia, all falling astern of Sheep.
Yeah, Sheep needs to be really careful because Sheep is, the point of the spear, basically.
Yeah.
But he needs to be really careful not to overextend and to watch those cross-map shots.
So for those that are perhaps not as familiar with some of the unique upgrades or legendary modules, as they are sometimes referred to, what does that do for Kleber stats?
So it gives it better concealment, but at the cost of reload. So basically what it does is it enables the Kleber to do better spotting, get a bit closer. It's still got the 8 kilometer torps that the Kleber normally has. But essentially what it means is that when that Kleber Sheep runs its reload booster, it's bringing it up to the level of a normal Kleber. So think about it as having essentially half the amount of gunpowder as these other 3.
So they're basically using him as a tripwire, basically, to spot the opposing destroyers so that they can then, to use a term that Zath taught me, they can Robocop him.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely. And the reason that they use something like a Kleber for this and not, say, I don't know, Shimo or Legendary Gearing is because then all the speeds are matched and so they can stay together.
Yeah, that's the key. They can all move as one unit, essentially.
Otherwise, they have to keep the speed of the slowest destroyer, and that just kind of defeats the point of having...
Defeats the purpose.
Yep.
Exactly. All right. Oh, Addy takes a big hit there.
Okay, let's move around and have a quick look at BONKS. They're pushing through A here. So we've got Battleship Nagato out the front in the Gearing, doing the spotting against Dastard's Conqueror and Artorias' Venezia. Reign having to just kite away from this push. There's not much they can do. A common tactic that Reign use, just using my knowledge of these EU teams, they will take this Conqueror and Venezia and they will just kite away and they will try to pull this group of 4 away from the cap if they can.
Now, BONKS, because of the lineup that Reign fielded, BONKS came into this match with a health advantage. They retain one, although I will say that so far it feels like Reign is maybe trading a little better. Reign is just now moving out to their first lead. They were upside down a cap for a little while. It's only 5 minutes gone. There's still only 10, 12 points between these teams. So this is a very close game, obviously. It's still early. But you can see Reign now having kind of basically what amounts to solid control of the C cap, rotating 2 of the Clebers down into B to join Eagles Marceau, who snuck into B as Whale Biologist ducked out earlier. And BONKS is definitely going to have a fight on their hands.
Yeah, Whale Biologist is potentially about to be on the receiving end of a couple of those Clebers and the Marceau as it backs around the corner there. Eagle 185 will potentially have shots. There goes the radar. Of course, they know the tap was being contested, so they know that Whale Biologist was there somewhere.
Right, but Whale ducks out of range of the radar, the Moskva radar. He was only at the extreme edge of it there, and he just bailed out, so they can't spot him at the moment.
The Venezia, right at the back, Addy, actually taking a significant amount of incoming down to 18k.
Addy's been getting hammered. They haven't gotten a whole lot of work out of Addy's guns so far. You can see just by the health pools on the opposing Clebers that Addy has not really hit many shells, or at least nothing significant.
So just a reminder that if you look at the top of the screen, you can see the team's health pools, 370 to 417. But don't forget that because Reign came in with those 5 destroyers, they're starting on significantly less hit points in total.
Yeah, they've got to trade better basically to maintain any kind, or to earn an advantage in that department. Whale Biologist does duck onto the corner B, finally halting those points gained with his Hydro up over here. About a 60-point lead for Reign here on the strength of those caps.
Yeah, it's going to be, so it's 1 cap apiece at the moment, so they're going to be ticking in unison, so that lead is not going to increase currently. But Reign are really starting to focus on B now. And I do wonder whether BONKS will try something to get around the back of these 2 Clebers that they've left at Charlie. You can see Todd Howard's there turning back up towards the cap.
I think, I mean, I'm not sure if they know where the other 2 Clebers that have rotated south are, but certainly it would be a great play for them to find a way to do that. Their current deployment makes it tough, though, and so does Addy's current health pool.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see here that Reign have actually pushed a Republic kind of into the middle of the map, which is quite unusual, but essentially still on a flank, because although it's in the B cap, pretty much most of the BONKS team is on one side of Malamu here. There are torpedoes from the gearing going towards Malamu's nose. Sorry, stern.
I looked over a minute ago, was surprised to see Malamu in this position. I think he's going to dodge all these torps. He might sneak one in the stern. No, he's fine. Post, but no cigar.
Republic with the reload, the speed booster, able to accelerate pretty well, despite being a big ship.
Post only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear weapons, as they say.
Exactly. Okay, Azure taking a little bit of SAP, but mostly able to angle effectively against Addy there. So Reign still with the points advantage, maintained at around 60-point advantage there.
I feel like BONKS is playing this pretty well. The health difference is almost even, though. They beat up Balbonk way down here at A. He's on about 12k. He can't really afford to get too slapped around. Looks like they're going to try and push Whale Biologist off the B cap for a little bit.
Yeah, if they can keep pushing those 2 destroyers out and just take a few more points here and there, because both the Z and the gearing are both going to leave here, which is going to give them a few ticks. I'm just wondering whether Lulu... No, Sheep is actually kiting away. I was just wondering whether Lulu might be preparing to push round on the daring. Sergeant Hattie manages to thread those torps quite nicely in the Ohio.
And they've pulled Malamu out. They're sending Malamu to C.
Yeah, I wonder whether they smell some kind of rearguard action here from Addy and Sergeant Hattie.
Well, they can see Hattie moving in on the cap, so they're obviously pulling something back to help oppose him. Game's half over as we cross the 10-minute mark. About an 80-point lead here for Reign, but Eagle 185 getting pretty low.
Problem with Rain turning around to defend Charlie is that leaves Gangbarang in the Kleber in the middle a little bit vulnerable. You've got Thighs there in the Moskva.
He's actually taking shots at... No, he took a shot at the Artorias.
Yeah, I thought he was shooting Eagle
way
for a
on the
second,
back of the map. So did I.
Yeah, Zuki needs to be really careful here because that Venezia could potentially smack him.
They're doing a really good job of beating up Dastard's Conqueror as well. Like, he's still got a decent chunk of HP, but, I mean, you look over, you see a Conqueror at, you know, 35, 40% HP. That's noteworthy. All the action around B here at the moment. Although C, I think, is definitely going to heat up soon.
Yeah, I think BONKS are just starting. Yeah, you've got Venezia, Addy just smoking through there. No doubt holding fire just to make sure there's no bloom to deal with, so that you can push through. Now let's just see what this Venezia does. I was kind of expecting him to push the cap, but he's not.
Gangbarang backs off of B with 2 destroyers in B. That's going to allow BONKS to pick it up very quickly here. I don't think Gang's going to get back onto this cap.
No, you might be right there.
Looks like BONKS is going to bag B. That's going to allow him to start slowly closing the gap here. 8.5 minutes to play.
It's not a very big gap either. And
no.
Actually, they do currently win on points with those 2 caps. We're seeing Gangbarang going around on Thighs here in the Moskva.
Yep.
Rule number 1 of rushing
Thighs knows it's coming.
Rule number 1 of rushing is make sure it dies. Let's see if Gangbarang can deliver.
It's got to try and knock out some of the torpedoes and hope it works.
Moskva not very quick to accelerate. I think all those torps are going to land.
He's going to take them all, and that's it. Wipes him out. A brilliant charge there from Gangbarang. Rain goes up a kill.
Okay, let's see where they... Go on.
I was going to say, they trade control of B for a kill. That's a great trade for them. Absolutely.
Let's see where they send Gangbarang now. I think going around on that Z might be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah. If I were whale biologist, I'd just put my Hydra up and be like, yeah, bring it, bro. Now, his Hydra might be down.
Yeah, I think it's on cooldown right now because it was on when he was in the cap, so...
Nope, I just saw
it's still up. I think it's coming towards the end, though.
He is. He's coming out right now.
Okay, so Gangbarang probably saved the reload booster for specifically this situation.
Let's see.
But the trouble is the gearing is there as well.
They do finally back Azur's Moskva.
Yeah, Gangbarang is
he's kind of outnumbered here, but they've rotated the gearing over to help out. They are going to be able to get Gangbarang. Just a question of whether or not how much health. Whale biologist has a lot of HP. He's trying to get in there that smoke, but Hydra should keep him locked up.
Yeah, I don't think that trade, unless one of these torpedoes lands, which of course it probably won't with the Hydra running. Whale biologist.
Again, they trade kills, but BONKS is about to take the lead on the strength of that cap advantage. We said earlier they traded the cap for a kill. That wasn't a bad play at the time, but things have not gone well since then.
No,
as BONKS moves out to the lead.
Rain having to use the very low health Eagle 185 Marceau here to actually now to block the cap rather than the more healthy Marceau.
That's chancy because, I mean, they can't run him down. He's faster than the gearing, but it only takes a couple of shells to make a big impact. If
the gearing comes around the island and he gets spotted before he can go unspotted, they will have killed it. So yeah, that's going to be super risky.
Now BONKS does have some very low ships. You see her turret bonk trying to stay in the game. Looks like he's not going to succeed. Way down here on the J line, and he doesn't.
Now, Baz there with the kill. Baz still mostly healthy here. I'm kind of expecting them to rotate Baz into the B cap if they can. Now that it's just the Yamato, because of course Yamato is much more easily spotted.
Super close game. 5 minutes to play here. Rain on a 100-point lead, but it is not over. BONKS still in a position to win if they can bag a kill or at least drive Eagle out of the cap long enough to take a lead.
It's going to get really interesting really quickly because the points are getting really high and they, of course, don't go down very easily. So over 900.
Can you catch sight of Eagle?
Can you see the points
on him?
Can you see the points clock ticking back and forth between the two teams?
Yes, that's how close it is. They get some shells on Eagle. They don't kill him.
Okay, Eagle on 1,000. Apache under fire from Venezia and Baz.
Oh, they do finally bag Hattie's Ohio. That's a big kill.
That
I think
puts
is Howard going to get back onto the cap? He is. In a moment, that's going to halt Rain's points gains.
Yeah, Rain, with that top cap, Rain would win in less than a minute, but with that daring blocking...
right there, they don't have that option right now.
No, BONKS' Yamato is probably going to go down here to Venezia.
That would end the game. That ends the game. There it is. Woo! A lot of back and forth. But
Super
Rain
close.
claims game one. Yeah, well played to both teams.
Yeah.
Rain claims game one. They go up in the series, and we'll head back to the studio, and they can talk about this. This was a fun match.
Absolutely.